Ah, the magic of media. Hello, everyone. This is Zach from Gravel by California. We're still a little bit in setup mode. Is StreamYard, which has been a fabulous platform so far, decided to switch things up a little bit, and I guess we're kind of like the little test mice right now. But we'll make it through because this is not our first rodeo. Anyways, Vic is joining us tonight along with Henry Pretzer, Fresno Cycling. Last year, we came out to do the Growler, and I was feeling a little sick, but I showed up anyways, hoping that I would be okay. I ended up feeling even worse in the morning, but I just still went out there. Uh, you'll see I made a video last year, and yeah, I had like a foaming mouth just being out there seeing everything, and I only saw a small portion. I also lost my drone for about 50 minutes, which is a story I won't tell in real time, but maybe I'll get to. But let's bring our favorite people in here, and Henry and Vic. So good evening, Henry.
Hey, fellas. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Yeah. Nice to see you both.
Well, you've basically covered the whole globe so far, so we're pretty good.
Well, I just appreciate you having me on anytime. So there you go.
Oh. Well, I haven't even asked, or maybe it's on the shirts, but what year number is this for Everyone Loves Raymond?
Okay, so this is the 7th edition. We skipped 2020. So our first ride was in 2018.
Okay. So, and has the course basically stayed the same the whole time?
It's been exactly the same. There's a lot of temptation to do some different things, but we've got this dialed in pretty well as far as covering the sag and the support and everything like that. And I'm just kind of chicken to try anything different. So, yeah. And it's people like it. So it's great.
I was going to say, I'm glad it's the same because I loved it the one time that I did it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was really great.
Yeah.
Yeah. But before I get into it, I'm going to just try and throw on some photos here. And I don't think I actually, shared all these from last year. And hopefully you're seeing it. But, because I'm so focused on video at these events, I very rarely, I've got a nice Fuji X100 camera that I bought years ago, and I don't get to take it out as much as I'd like because I already have enough cameras on my bike.
You don't want to be like Andy and swing that one over your.
Well, I'd have to give up the video because it's too hard, and you've seen my selfie game out here. But these are just some of the pictures I got. And that's Martin. And this was about right before the 20-mile mark, I believe. Actually, no, this is now past it.
Yeah, that would be beyond the 23-mile point.
But yeah, I know I shared some of these photos with the group, but it was just everything was so big that I didn't quite have it. And here we go. Here's a little map. I mean, we'll get to a Google fly through, but what I like here is you also color coded the green is the gravel, the red is the road, and both courses are mostly gravel.
Yeah, roughly 65% gravel. A lot of the pavement, much of the pavement is descending, so it goes by fast. So you're climbing mostly on the dirt.
And so, it'll show more on the map when we get to the Google map. But basically, everything from the on the left-hand side is the Growler. Everything on the right is the Pint, and you put them all together. That's the kegger.
You get the kegger, yeah.
What do they call those things at breweries? Are the big master vats? I mean, have you ever thought that would be like about a 500 miles? Be able to do something like that. I mean, it's an idea.
Okay. All right, son. I'm filing it.
That's the silo.
Okay, now this one, I think I cheated because I took out the drone on this one, but I think I'm actually missing quite a bit of photos here. I'll get to the other ones in a second, but yeah. So I mean, for people, this is their first time. Tell everyone a little bit about the course and what they should expect, and and why this is a great time of year.
Well, it's as you mentioned, it is. We've got 3 different distances. We've got the shorter one is the Pint, 34.7 miles. That's 2,700 feet of climbing. We've got the Growler, which is 59.5 miles, and that's 5,600 feet of climbing. And then the Kegger is the 2 mostly together, and that's 90.4 miles, about 7,900 feet of climbing. It is all of these roads are public county roads. We have one section where it is gated on one end, and that's on the Growler and and of course the first part of the Kegger. It's fenced. It's a lot of open range for cattle out there, so you'll encounter some cows. That one section is fenced on. It's about a 2.5 mile section. We've got a gate. We monitor the gate so that when you're riding up, when the monitor sees you, opens the gate, you ride right through. There's a gate in the middle that is sometimes open, sometimes closed, but we have a monitor on that one as well. And then right at the end of this is Beach Road, the Beach Road section, about mile 20 through 23. And then the last gate, we also have monitored. That's the only place that, is, I mean, like I said, they're all county roads, but that's the only place that's, that's fenced off. Everything else is kind of drivable and rideable, of course. So it's, our club, the Fresno Cycling Club, puts Everyone Loves Raymond on. These are just roads that I have ridden since I started riding gravel, and I didn't discover them, but discovered them for myself. And, I just thought, oh my gosh, this is so great. I got to share this. So I started taking people out there, and I guess I took the right people out there to, so that we now have this event for the 7th time. At the first 3, so years ago, Murphy Mack from the Bay Area, he did, in his series, he did a ride out here. It started up closer to Mariposa, but came down and did a loop through Raymond. A lot of the same roads that we ride right on ELR. And he was in March. So when we sort of conceived the ride, we didn't want to go head to head with another event being the second one to come in. So we put it in November, and it was dry and dusty, and people loved it. It was just great. Same roads, kind of different conditions. And then I want to say it was 2021, that other ride that was in March, Rumble in the Ranchlands, it just kind of went away. And so then we ran in November of 21, and then we came back in March of 22 and did it again. And I thought, oh man, who's going to want to ride this twice in 5 months? But 139 people did. And so it was glorious. You guys have been out there in March. It's just another world. And so ever since then, we've been having it in March. We've had some weather challenges. I think it was in 23, we had to postpone the ride twice. But the day that we finally were able to get out there, and thankfully the venue was open, and all of our vendors were able to show, and it was a great day. It was April Fool's Day, and so it was great. So we're very pleased with being able to have it in March, and it's a good time of year out there.
Yeah. Oh, we'll just throw on a little hello here from Jeffrey. He says, and he also said, "What's up, Victor? We're Strava buddies. Lake Isabella. We've got a video coming. Probably I'll have it out by the summer of Breckenridge in that area up there. But I guess, God, the Sierra is so big. This is like kind of like the southern area down there. But this has to be like the perfect time of the year to be out there. I mean, just looking at it right now, and I've seen your photos, and it didn't look like it was this peak green, but I know with all the rains coming in, the timing is going to be incredible. Right?
As long as they stop, man. As long as they stop.
Yeah.
Well, I know that was like a concern last year too, but it was just almost like like the gods had opened up.
Yeah,
like,
we got the break
just for the right amount of time.
Right.
And even with the wetness out there, before, like the conditions were, the course held really well.
Yeah, a lot of granite in this in the soil out there, and so it's. I mean, you get ruts in some spots, but for the most part, it soaks it right up, and then then you're a hero. So right, so
one of the highlights for me when I did do it was the bridge crossing, and I don't remember what river that was, but it was full of water, and there were some bathers, some some people that were scantily clad in the water. And but the water in the green was beautiful.
We provided those people for
Did
you
really?
guys. We set them out.
It was a setup. Oh man.
Wow, that's a high bar.
Yeah. So see, you guys, this time you'll be on the other side, and there's a difference. There's you'll go along a creek. It's called Mariposa Creek, and then one of the offshoots of it, which I'm not really certain of the name is, but there's no river that runs through it like on the Pines. But you'll still. I was up there Sunday. I rode up there Sunday, and like right where that picture is, and it was pretty nice. It was pretty nice. So I'm expecting with the rain that we're getting, green up even a little bit more. There was one spot on Beach Road where there's a bit of a water crossing. There's a water crossing, and that either runs or runs high or low. We rode through it. And it was not an issue. So,
Henry,
yeah.
you may not know this, but water crossings are Zach's nemesis.
Oh boy.
Or walk through or avoids at all costs.
I did it, and if I can do it with my limited skill set, yeah, you'll like it.
I mean, like, I think this picture here also illustrates with the rains you had right before. I mean, look at the surface.
Yeah, it rained up that day. It stopped raining at 7 a.m. I mean, it rained all night because we stay at the venue Friday through Sunday, but it rained. It started at about 10 o'clock on Friday night, and it rained all night. And I thought, oh, this is terrible. And then it stopped. And it was, there's my friend Laura. It stopped all day. And then at 5 o'clock, it just poured. And so good enough, Yeah.
But I mean, like, you can see there's barely any tracks being put in here by the people that are going through. And, I did slow pedal this section right here to shoot photos, and I just was like, oh damn, I want to keep going. But, I got to make it back.
Yeah, there are not a lot of places that get really, really squishy. You don't pick up a whole ton of mud. Got to watch the cow pies. There were a lot of cow pies out there Sunday, but I mean, you can see it there. It just the like I said, the granite in the soil, it really does absorb well.
And the other thing is like this, it's not a race, and what's great is it's just people are out there to ride and to enjoy. And I kind of think that sometimes we overlook this. I mean, there are great events that are fun for racing, but then there's also events where you kind of want to just enjoy and have fun, and just see everything around, and just like to experience something you could only do on a bicycle, and to go through like the environment in this way. If you were in a car, you would miss most of the stuff being already inside that canopy. But just the speed itself, it's just so natural and just such a great way to see this area.
Well, when we dreamed this up, it was, there was a faction that said, oh, well, we need to make it a race. And it's like, I don't know. There are just so many different factors that come into when you have a race, and we just wanted it to be fun. We just wanted it to be fun and kind of a good, have a good feeling and a camaraderie that you have when you're having fun riding gravel. So
it's interesting, like, getting a close up look at the surfaces too. Like you said, the granite, it just rides so well and so smooth. And it's the San Diego crew that's right here coming through. But yeah, it's a really great surface. And when after this I backtracked, went to my car, and that's where I got the photos of the aid station at the very top. And then I think I took a different way coming back, and just kind of like seeing these little small mini valleys that kind of like fit in between. I just said like, I mean, it'd be a great place this time of year also just to get in some of these roads. And I think that I had this issue too of like I always wanted to find excuses to go off the 99 and find like really great places to ride. And I had never found like done anything like this in the foothills. And thanks for bringing it to us.
Oh gosh, my pleasure. And my thing is that I love doing it, and if I can share it with people, maybe they'll love doing it too, and maybe share it with somebody else. So it's a labor of love, right?
Okay, so this is the pit stop, people coming in, and this is the best dressed person I think I saw of the day.
Very sharp.
But also your pit stops are super well stocked.
We have great volunteers. That's kind of the hallmark of the Fresno Cycling Club. We have great volunteers.
I remember that. Yeah.
Explain this person.
Who's that guy? Who's that guy?
Well, something I don't think I've actually brought up was like afterwards. You have food set up. There's a supply of drinks afterwards. I mean, what's going on for this year?
Same thing. Same vendor. The same taco guy. He's Alex, the taco guy, and he's been a stalwart with us 5-6 years. So we found him, and because of the location, not easy to get somebody to come up there. And this guy's just from the Fresno area, and he came up, and he is, I mean, he's a great guy. It's a family thing. One or more of his kids are there, or his wife. So, yeah, it's they're good people, and you know, they don't mind driving up there. So that's a good thing.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Hello, I'm back.
okay.
That was weird.
And I'm hardwired in, so I don't understand what's going on.
Uh-oh.
Anyways, so I want to get to, you know, it's interesting because, you know, I love doing course previews. It gives me an idea, but you actually don't know until you're there. But I do think that, like, a lot of times when I watch other people's videos, hopefully people feel the same way about mine. It does give like a good eye and lens into what people have to expect. Because
Hopefully.
well, I mean, it's interesting because, like, and that's one thing that makes it harder. And, you know, some of the events that you know, change the course every year, you know, it's a little bit harder to get a grip because you may not have as many people that have ridden like certain segments. You know, just not a lot of background knowledge.
Yeah.
So,
well, I will go ahead.
Oh, now that you know, you have all have done this many times, and I got to see it firsthand, you know, that was a huge difference.
Well, I will say, you know, we have had various experiences with marking the routes, and some issues with, you know, with some sabotage is kind of a strong word, but you know, but anyway, so we do our best to mark the routes. We have a route monitor at each location where we think that someone's going to need one. I go out there Friday all day, and we were told our chalk paint doesn't wash off, so now I'm just doing chalk. I'm back in Little League, you know, when we used to chalk the field. So I'm doing arrows with that. All that said, you know, we do our best to keep everybody, not to lose anybody. But if you have the capability, please download the route onto your device, on your phone or whatever. It's just, you know, if there's any question, you have something you can go back to refer to. Like I said, it shouldn't be required, or it shouldn't be needed, because I think it's pretty well obvious where you need to go. But anyway.
Well, let's get into, whoa, that's too big. Wanted to show the profile. Figure that out.
Wow, that's a lot of climbing.
Well, I'll have to scratch the profile right there, unless I make it a big old image. But so yeah, let's take us through here, and just so people know, the Growler course is the yellow, and the red is the gravel of the Growler. The little thinnish orange, that's the pint. So we have a video of that. You know, we have our short little video last year covering covering the Growler. But let's start off here at the starting line.
Yeah, so you're at Footman Park, and you ride out and onto Road 600, which is the main drag in Raymond. You will ride about a mile, and you'll go past the world famous Raymond General Store, which is kind of they have a bar there. It's really great. So then you hook a left we will have a monitor there, getting everybody turned left, and that is on Road 613 or Ben Hur Road. It turns into Ben Hur. The ride goes through at least 2 different counties, if not 3. And it is basically, it's kind of a balloon on a string sort of thing. First 8 miles there, as you can see by the yellow, they are paved. It rolls, kind of a neat area, and that one long straight stretch is kind of fun, kind of what I would imagine something in Kansas looks like. I mean, a friend of mine went to college in Kansas, and he says every time I drive that road, it just takes me back to my college days. So, in the background there, you can see that is Eastman Lake. So as you continue, you get to that point where you're moving left there, and then you start descending down to the Raymond Bridge there, and that is actually I think it's the Chowchilla River.
Okay, so that whips all the way around from the Pine Course into here and feeds the
and feeds Eastman Lake. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you continue on, you kind of climb out of the river a little bit, and then the actual road, the paved road, turns to the right there. You can see it, but we go to the left, or it's straight, but you take the left, and that's where the dirt starts. That is at about 8 miles. So you'll get and down below here is the dirt. It's a little chunkier. Okay, so where you saw, Zach, up on top there, a little bit finer rock, gravel, whatever. Down below here, the first 20 miles, you get some places that are pretty chunky. You get a few ruts, but it is not severe by any means. That is if you're running a 38 millimeter tire, you kind of want to be careful. Just pick your spot. As long as you look at where you're going, you'll be okay.
Now one thing that unfortunately Google Earth isn't doing it justice, because I guess they took these aerial photos at the driest part of the year.
Oh, probably during our November ride.
Yeah.
It looks like
it kind of looks like I expect to see those big worms from Dune to come in here. So
camels or something.
Yeah. I mean, so this was like the area that was like really big of intrigue over here, and I guess you just have a number of other. Now, is this the creek crossing, or no? I guess they've got a road.
No. I will say before we get too far. So you hit the dirt at 8 miles, and then at 10 miles, there is it looks like a big chimney, a big stone chimney, and based on what I've read, that this is a kind of a big mining area back in the day. And so that was a smelter for the copper, and they mine silver there as well, and some gold miners. But that's kind of a nice picture spot. And when you guys go past it, it'll probably be surrounded by poppies. It's a pretty good photo op. And then from when you get there, there'll be a road that goes on to the left. You don't take that. You keep going straight, and we'll have signage there that'll say as much, and that's at 10 miles.
Is there a ghost town there?
I'm sorry?
Is there a ghost town there, like Bodie?
No, I wish. Yeah. I mean, if you on its smallest level, I guess you could call it a ghost town. But yeah, it's kind of interesting, the history of that area. And so you go out and climb. You hit open range just past that, maybe 11 miles. You go over a cattle guard, And then of course you'll know you're there. When last time I was there were a lot of cows there. I talked to some people that were there this weekend. Not as many cows, and we saw that they just move them around, to graze the cattle. So it just depends on your luck, is if you get a day when the cattle are somewhere else, or if you're just picking through the cow pies, one after the other. It washes off though. It does wash off both of your bike and out of your clothes.
I'm not scared of cow pies. I'm scared of bulls.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well,
The
cattle and cows, I make a distinction between cows and bulls because
yeah. We have seen a couple of bulls out there, but for the most part, it's just steers and cows. They're eating, they're eating. So
I can handle that.
Yeah, if you do encounter a mama and a calf, you want to respect. Any of those animals, you want to respect it because they're huge. They're huge. You don't
huge.
Yeah.
Well, it's even interesting looking at this vantage point, like how many of these little collection of water here that probably are used for the cattle to.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It just there's if you jump onto Google Earth, zoom out, you'll see all these things. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, in about I want to say the 14-mile mark, there's a windmill that's going up, and it's got a trough underneath it. I guess it runs a pump, and popular place for the cattle to hang out. So it's always kind of nice to see, as long as they're off the road, which they usually are. So,
are we allowed to take one home like in City Slickers?
That's you signed a waiver, right?
Okay. Hopefully the cows did too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, it's fine. I can see all these little dots, and this looks like.
Okay, so that. I think that is where the free range or the open range starts,
and
it goes. I mean, it kind of goes all the way through to the rest stop at 16 miles, but you'll go past another cattle guard, and then you won't see many. I'm not sure if I can pick that up.
Yeah, the markings here are a little bit harder on Google Earth, but
yeah.
But here's the first, and I guess the third aid station too.
Right. You hit that on the way out and on the way back. So that's at mile 16, and on the way back it's at mile 44. So when you hit that on the way back, you've got 15 miles to go. Might be a little warm, so definitely make sure you refill your bottles at that point. They might have a bottle of something there for you to take a shot of, or look.
Someone beat us to
yeah. I know nothing.
No, you just drop off the regular supplies. I know that.
That's right. Yeah.
So
from there you go up, and that is White Rock Road. Interestingly, you won't have maybe time. Well, I mean, if you may have time to do that. If you go the other direction, there's a little White Rock Cemetery, which has a lot of old.
I think I saw it on the map. Is it somewhere around here?
1800. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. It's not it's not forest lawn or anything like that. It's a little old graveyard, but it's kind of interesting. Whenever I take people out there, we'll hop off the bikes, and then you have to take a picture of your bike in front of the sign that says people are dying to get in here. That's just kind of what you have to do.
Done. It's in the video already.
Yeah, so that you start climbing there. And then you end up climbing. It's about 4 miles to the Beach Road gate, where the first monitor is. Okay, and so and that last little part of the climb is pretty good little kicker. You guys probably won't encounter it, but one thing that we want really people to know about is the other riders, the faster riders, they'll be coming down at that point. So it's two-way traffic. There are some blind corners. We've got some signage there to that effect. Hey, two-way traffic. So stay right the best you can if you can remember it, because, you know, those dudes coming down, it's a descent for at least a good mile before they hit that beach road gate. And then beyond that, they're going fast. So, you know, we just want everybody to be aware of that and to be safe. And like I said, we do have that signage out there. So, you know, hopefully people will heed that and keep their eyes open. So when you go through that beach road gate there, you make the right, and there'll be a monitor there. To me, that is one of the prettier parts of the route. That it's about a 2.5 mile stretch. That is all open range, so it's gated at each end. We were up there Sunday, and we saw a bunch of cows, so they were friendly. But it's beautiful there, and I think that you took some pictures from the other end.
Yeah, I was probably like right around here, and like a lot of those pictures, I got somebody whooping around this corner, and I think I launched the drone up to try and like see past all this, and it just was gorgeous, and you know, mouth salivating being there, not be able to do it. And this tree, I hope is still not here, because that's the one that caught my drone.
I cut that down. I actually cut that down the other day.
Thank you.
So, and it's kind of a beach road is kind of a gradual climb. There's one real kicker part right kind of close to the beginning. You'll hit a summit, and from that summit, you feel like you can kind of see forever. And then you come down the other side. It's a pretty quick descent, and then that's where you'll get the little water crossing. It's not even, I wouldn't even call it a stream. It's less than a creek. How's that?
Notion. This little part right here.
I believe that's where it is.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So we're about like 22 miles in, and then so I parked my car like right here, and then drove up just a little, because you have a little bit of road here, and that's when we get back to the dirt.
Right.
And
and you drove up there, or did you ride up there?
Yeah, I drove like a half mile to here or however long it was, and then started biking in this part. And
that's a good little, you know, we did that Sunday. That's a good little, that climb will get your attention a little bit. It kicks up pretty well. But I mean, that's another, I keep saying this, but that's another one of the prettiest parts of the course, because you climb, you gradually climb, and then you get to sort of a summit, and you can see into the mountains. I took some pictures. I mean, it's really pretty up there.
Yeah, and then I think I made it just as far, if I could find it, but I think this little pond right over here. You see the images. It was just kind of like gorgeous, and it was funny. I was like on the side of the road with my camera, and people going by, so nice. They're like, "Are you okay?" Like, "Fine. Just shooting photos."
Yeah, that's right.
Don't look so concerned. It won't.
You need your little press pass.
Yeah. But I saw like this mile of dirt is about like a 5 mile stretch before you hit pavement over here.
Right.
And then
that pavement is the summit, and that's actually the highest point on any of our routes. It's about 2,500 feet. So from there on, you're descending down to, and you're still there on Silver Bar Road. You are descending down to Ben-Hur again, and on that, because it's high, they put a lot of sand and gravel on the road for the ice, for traction on the ice. So there was a lot of loose, not loose like you're going to lose it. But you just, it piles up in different spots. So, where the wheels go on the cars, there's a little bit in the middle, and in the middle of the road. So again, it's, if you pay attention, you'll be fine. But it's fast. It's a fast descent. The 1 year that I actually got to ride, I was coming down that spot and it was pouring. I mean, there was like, it was raining so hard. And I thought, well, this is it. I'm going to lose it in my own ride. I'm going to lose it. But I survived.
Well,
so you'll come screaming into this stop sign. We have a monitor there. You make a left, and that's on Ben Hur. So you're going from Silver Bar to Ben Hur. If you make a right on Ben Hur, just a few miles, and you're actually in the town of Mariposa. Oh, wow. You're that close.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. All connected. Okay.
Right.
Wow. I'll add that pin to the next fly through. Oh, I can see it all up over here. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Really close. Okay. So then we've got about 3-4 miles to get
to pavement. The last 2 miles of that are really lousy pavement. You'll be really happy that you have your gravel bike and not a road bike. And then you add 34 miles, 34.8 miles. I have it somewhere. 34 miles, 33.8, I think. Anyway, you get to an aid station. Fill up there. That's a left turn on Old Highway. So you're going along. You turn that left on Ben Hur off of Silver Bar. Ben Hur turns to the left. You stay straight, and it turns into Buckeye Road. Buckeye for another 1.5 miles, and then you're at the aid station.
Mm-hmm.
You'll make that left. Still paved, 1.5 miles. You're going through the kind of a historic enclave. It's called Bridgeport. I guess there are Bridgeports all over the place, but just kind of a little community, small enclave there. And then you'll follow this old highway for 1.5 miles. We'll have a monitor at the corner of Old Highway and White Rock. So you make the left there. And when you make that that's it right there. Yeah.
Okay.
That first mile is a really, really horrible pavement, but you're descending on it. And then it kind of bottoms out a little bit and it turns to dirt. And then at that point, you're going along the road and you're right next to Mariposa Creek. Very, very scenic spot. You can see the creek right there on the left. So you'll go down there. That's pretty good dirt there. And then you'll cross this little bridge that goes over Mariposa Creek. And, Mariposa Creek, it has there's no flood control or anything. So 1 year we had this, that's area down leading up to that bridge. It was washed. It wasn't washed out, but all of the dirt was washed out. And I worried that people were going to crash, and I thought, well, it's a gravel ride, right? They need to be careful, but everyone survived. No one went down. But you can see sometimes when the creek floods, there's debris on the bridge. I mean, one time I was riding along there just past the bridge and I found a fish on the road. It's like, okay, well.
Whoa.
Yeah. So you knew the water was high. So from there you go and you climb. It's about, I want to say it's 3 miles to the summit.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. This is a climb.
Yeah. Though it's steady. It's steady. It's not, I wouldn't even say it's even pitchy in anywhere. There are a couple switchbacks. but again, very, very pretty in there. The creek goes away from the road, and you continue up, and then you'll get to a point where you top out, you summit out, and you can see it. I mean, it really looks glorious out there right now, because you can see the green hills forever. You can see, if the air's right, you can see the Coast Range. I mean, it's beautiful.
Wow.
So then you're descending at breakneck speed on there on White Rock, and then you'll pass the gate to Beach Road, but you keep going. And again, beware, you may have two-way traffic there. So just take care not to, or just everyone keep their eyes open. And then again, this is descending. It's chunky, it's pretty chunky. So just be aware of that. Last time I was there, it was about 2 weeks ago. It's not super rutted, but it's rained since then. So, occasionally you'll get a rut where a car or a vehicle will go and when it's just after it's rained, and then, make a rut, and then it stays there for 2 weeks. So, but for the most part, it's dirt riding,
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think people get pretty familiar coming up it.
Yeah.
Oops. And then, making our way back, we've got the aid station number 3.
The aid station, and then it's a little climb. If you have one of the offerings at the aid station, sometimes you'll regret it on that climb. But it's about a half mile. It's not that far. And then it rolls back on the dirt. It's predominantly, I would say, it's net downhill.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems a lot faster for me anyway, it seems a lot faster going back. And then you'll go back past the chimney again.
Mm-hmm.
And continue on and hit the pavement.
Yeah.
And so the last 8 miles is pavement. At about 5 miles to go, you'll cross that. Okay, so you'll cross that bridge, Raymond Bridge. There's a restroom there if you need it, right there.
I used it.
Yeah, well, and you know what? That is where, when I take people out there to ride, we park there, because no one wants to ride this hill coming up afterwards back in Raymond. You know what I mean?
This little pitchy one here.
Yeah, it's a mile.
Uh-huh.
And maybe a little more than a mile, and it probably I don't think it tops 8%, but it probably averages about 5%. But you're at 55 miles, so if you haven't saved a little something, and if it's a little warm, you might be using my name in vain right there. You wouldn't be the first. You wouldn't be the first one though.
Okay,
but then I always say, hey, it's the only way to get back there. It's only the only way to get back. So,
let's see. All right, and then so then we just make our way across and get to go through the heart of Raymond. And now, just for people that are doing the Kager, they would be making the left turn here.
Left-hand turn right there, road 800.
Uh-huh. Oh, wait, no, that's not it.
Oh, that's not it.
It's a little.
Well, I think it's actually a little farther up.
There it is, up here.
It's just a mile from the main road there, road 600. And then that one, you guys did that one, and if you recall, it drops. I mean, it's a descent for a good 4 miles. And then kind of bottoms out again at a creek, like they all do, and then it rolls along the creek. That's a great route too.
Yeah. I think it was interesting because the first year, we were like, oh, let's do the whole thing, and then you kind of encouraged us to just do one. I'm kind of glad. because that would have been a lot of volume of really cool stuff in one ride.
Yeah.
So this was definitely a better way for us, although it's a pretty good course if you're wanting to do, was it 95 miles?
It's 90 miles.
Okay.
It's 90 miles. Yeah. And and then again, you've got that, if you guys remember that Acton grade, the one climb that's about halfway through, if you're doing the 90 miler, you hit that at close to 70 miles.
Ugh.
Yeah. And so, yeah.
That thing was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it was paved, so that was a good thing.
Well, let me just say that's the only way to get back. Okay. So.
Well, even the people that were walking it, they didn't look like they had a scratch.
No, I mean, no one's
such a great ride that
no one's suffering.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a mile and it averages 13, and it probably kicks to 18.
It was only a mile. It felt like.
Yeah, no, I know, right? It seems like it's 7 miles long. Yeah, the paved part is a mile.
I would have never guessed that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did on a 1-to-1 gear ratio. Times have changed.
Yeah, right.
And then we finished back there. We've already had a comment about the tacos. So
yeah, the tacos were great. That's for sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
And other than that,
wait, talk about the camping situation.
Okay, so we have limited camping space there at the park. I mean, I wish we could camp everybody, but I usually have to cut it off at about 15 or 20. So, however, 6 miles down the road at Hensley Lake, there is the Hidden View Campground. It's an 8-minute drive. That's a Corps of Engineers campground. So they have, showers, electricity, water, the whole works there. So we try to encourage people who want to camp but can't get into the actual venue there, because as kind of victim of your own popularity, parking is at a premium. So we have the best parking staff on the face of the earth. I mean, they're really good. But we've also opened up parking across the street. We do ask people that when they come in, if they would please just come in and check in, because we have lost track of people because they've ridden straight to their cars, and then they either leave or don't check in when they walk across the street. So we just don't want to lose anybody, and the part of our committee they're really great at, hey, this person didn't check in. Oh, we'll call them. We'll call their contact. And you don't want your emergency contact being called because you wanted to go change clothes first before you came in. So that's just an ask for us, and that'll be detailed a little bit better in the email that we send out to all the riders. So but it's just a kickback time. The picnic area there, we've got tables and some drinks and the tacos, and it's everybody sits around and talks about how great they are. So
well, the Pint made our best rides to fall in love, the gravel for people that are just getting into it. And then also in our 5-year anniversary, top 10 rides too. So, it's a magical spot, and, just a lot of people that love biking that want to support. So, it's just fantastic vibe and everyone who's all involved, and it just feels great to be out there on a bike.
Well, I can't thank GBC and you guys enough. You know, your support me and your friendship means a lot to me. And you know, I think we owe a bit of our success to Gravel Bike California. You know, people know about it, you know, and your reach goes farther than mine does. So you know, we're thankful for that. And you know, it's fun to have you guys out there. It's great. And hey, people want to see you and be seen by you.
Maybe I'll grow a beard in time, and we'll see if people recognize me or something. But no, it's a great time, great hang, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, so much.
Yep,
very good.
So
yeah, and thanks for having me on and doing this. Hopefully, you know, people you know, found out something that they needed to know, and make their day a little bit better on the 29th.
Yeah, well, everyone, if I haven't added a link, I will on YouTube, or just go to our homepage, the calendar. We've got a link to it. Sign up. It's a great ride. You won't regret going out there. And you'll, you know, and it's just one of those things like I said in the middle of the program, it just, I hadn't found like rides in the area like that, and it just definitely changed my view on it all. So
awesome.
Anyways, well, thank you for joining. Thanks for putting up with our thing, and we'll see you on the 29th.
All right, looking forward to it. Thanks. Take care.
All right.